In the quiet American town of Silent Valley, peace was only a rumor, until a young woman was found murdered on her own farm. I'm Officer Lydia Hart, and when I followed the scent of burnt wood and perfume, I uncovered a secret buried for decades. A secret guarded by two men who would kill to protect it. This valley isn't silent anymore, because I'm about to expose the truth, even if it burns the whole town down. The night the call came in, the wind was restless, shaking the pines around Silent Valley, our small northern American town where nothing ever truly happened. People here like to say life moves slow enough that you can hear your own heartbeat. But I, Officer Lydia Hart, learned a long time ago that quiet towns usually hide the loudest secrets. It was 2:14 a.m. when my phone buzzed. Officer Hart, we've got a body out at the West Creek farm. Might be a homicide. For a moment, sleep clung to me like a fog, but the word homicide ripped it away. A murder in Silent Valley was the kind of thing that happened in old newspaper clippings, not in real life, and not on my watch. 10 minutes later, I was bumping along the dirt road leading to the farm. The headlights caught the edge of the barn, the frost on the grass, and a cluster of deputies standing still as stones. When I stepped out, the air hit me, a strange mix of burnt wood and a faint, expensive perfume. I frowned. That wasn't a farm smell. It was deliberate, wrong. The body lay near the tool shed, her brown hair fanned out across the cold ground like a broken halo. My breath caught. Emma Barnett, 28. Quiet, brilliant, loved by everyone in town. The kind of person enemies don't go looking for. But trouble. Trouble had found her anyway. The wound on the back of her skull told me she had been struck with force. Someone swung with intention, not panic. Someone who wanted her dead. I knelt beside her, scanning the ground. That's when I saw it, a torn strip of leather, rough and stiff, lying half, buried in the dirt. I picked it up. It wasn't from a jacket. It wasn't from boots. It looked like something from a glove. Heavy, duty work, grade custom, made, something used by a mechanic, a carpenter, a farmhand, or someone who didn't want fingerprints on a murder weapon. Before I could say more, I heard boots behind me. Rough night to start your shift, Deputy Tom Raid muttered. Tom had been in Silent Valley only a year, but he already walked like the town belonged to him. Steady gaze, sharp jaw, a man who disliked surprises. You know her? He asked. Everyone knows Emma. I said. She never bothered a soul. Tom's jaw tightened. Then this is gonna shake the valley up. Folks don't like chaos here. Something in his tone felt warning, as if he wanted the matter closed before it even opened. I looked back down at Emma. Her eyes were still open. It felt like they were staring at me, pleading, telling me she had seen her killer. That she had fought, that she had known something she wasn't supposed to know. A cold certainty settled in my chest. Emma, I whispered internally, I'll make sure whoever did this doesn't walk away. But Silent Valley had never been kind to truth seekers. And whatever was hiding under its quiet skin was darker and far older than a single murder. This was the beginning of something none of us were prepared for. By sunrise, Silent Valley looked exactly the same as it always did. Slow, sleepy, innocent. But I'd seen the truth in the dirt behind the Barnett farm, and it followed me like a pulse under the town's surface. Emma Barnett didn't die by accident, and she didn't die because someone got angry. She died because she knew something. The question was, what, and who didn't want her alive to tell it? My first stop was the small bakery on Main Street. The windows were fogged, and the smell of warm bread drifted through the cold morning air. Inside, Kathy Green, Emma's closest friend, was wiping down the counter with trembling hands. As soon as she saw me, her face fell. You found her, she whispered. Did you? Did you see her? I nodded. Her eyes watered. Emma wasn't the kind of girl bad things happen to. No one is. I said gently, Kathy, I need you to tell me everything, especially anything strange Emma said or did recently. She hesitated. Fear moved across her face like a shadow. She told me. She thought someone was watching her. My breath caught watching her when, a few nights ago, she said she kept seeing a figure near the woods behind her farm, tall, wearing something dark. Kathy swallowed hard. She tried to laugh it off, but she wasn't sleeping well. Did she say who she thought it was? No, but she was worried, and Emma never worried. That wasn't all. Kathy's fingers fidgeted with a bracelet, nervous, hiding something. What else? I pressed. She almost whispered this part. She had a fight with that new guy. Jason Clark, a bad one. There it was again. Jason's name kept floating up like oil on water. What were they fighting about? Land. Kathy said. Jason's been trying to buy up all the surrounding farms, but Emma wouldn't sell. After the argument, she told me she wasn't sure Jason was who he said he was. That got my attention, meaning she found something. Kathy leaned in. Something about him. My pulse jumped. What did she find? I swear, I don't know. Kathy's voice cracked. She said she'd tell me when she confirmed it, but she died before she could. A chill crawled down my spine. Emma discovered something worth killing for, and the smell at the murder scene. Burnt wood mixed with sweet perfume. It wasn't random. Jason Clark lived in a rented cabin on the northwest edge of town. Too nice for a drifter, too isolated for a friendly neighbor. When he opened the door, he smiled like he'd been expecting me. Officer Hart, he said, smooth as polished stone. Come to accuse me of murder. Not yet. I replied, just a conversation. He stepped aside. By all means. His cabin was too clean, too organized, not a life lived. More like a life staged. Where were you last night? I asked. Silent Valley Inn, room 14. I told Deputy Reed to check the cameras. I folded my arms. They were conveniently not working. Ah, he said, tilting his head. How unfortunate. He didn't sound surprised, and he definitely didn't sound innocent. What was your relationship with Emma Barnett? That girl hated my guts, he said lightly. Sweet on the surface, razor underneath. She didn't like me buying land. People get territorial. His smile sharpened, but I didn't kill her. You had motive. He chuckled. Officer, in a town this small, everyone has a motive, even you. I held his gaze. What did Emma know about you? His eyes narrowed just a fraction, enough to tell me he understood the question too well. That's a dangerous suggestion, he murmured. So is murder. A moment passed, quiet, tight, threatening. Then he stepped closer. If Emma knew something, he said, then maybe you should ask yourself how she found it out. I didn't like the way he said that. I didn't like his calm, or the way he watched me leave like I had just stepped into someone else's trap. The Barnett farm was silent when I returned. The woods behind it whispered with cold wind, bending the tall branches like warning fingers. I walked inside the house, the floorboards creaking under my boots. It still smelled faintly like Emma Lavender soap, old books, quiet evenings, but something underneath it lingered, the same scent from the murder scene, burnt wood with an edge of perfume. I followed it instinctively. A locked storeroom, small, hidden behind the kitchen pantry. I broke the lock. Inside, dust floated through the stale air, stacks of old journals, a few wooden crates, and on the floor, a wooden mask. Hand-carved, dark, smoothed by time, smoke, stained, and it smelled exactly like the scent by Emma's body. A cold ripple worked down my spine. I lifted the mask carefully. Shadows shaped into a grimacing face, hollow eyes staring at me. Why would Emma have this? Where did it come from? What did she discover? Then I saw the notebook under it. Emma's handwriting filled the pages, restless, frantic in places. One sentence was circled over and over. They're watching me. They know what I found. We, not he. Not she, they. Who the hell were they? Then another line. If something happens to me, it came from the woods. My heart pounded. The woods that circled the west edge of town. The same woods Jason came from. The same woods where people whispered old stories. Strange shadows, weird noises, disappearances decades ago. Then I found the final page. A torn-out corner of a printed document tucked into the back of the notebook. It read, Property Acquisition Silent Valley Expansion Project approved by T.R.T.R. Tom Reed. A ripple of ice slid through my bloodstream. Why was my own deputy's initials on a document Emma hid? I turned off the notebook light the moment I heard boots behind me. Lydia, Tom's voice echoed down the hallway. I closed the storeroom door and walked out casually. "What are you doing back here?" he asked. His face looked calm, but something was off. His shirt was damp, like he'd been sweating or running. "I'm following leads," I said. "And you?" "Just checking in." He shrugged. "You disappeared earlier." "Disappeared? Funny word choice. What do you know about Jason Clark?" I asked. "He's trouble," Tom replied. "But not stupid enough to bash someone's head in." "I studied him. You seem pretty sure." "He didn't blink. Call it a gut feel." "That's not evidence. Neither is a mask in some closet," he said quietly. My chest tightened. How did he know about the mask? I hadn't told anyone yet. Then Tom said something that made my stomach collapse inward. Emma was a curious girl. Sometimes curiosity gets people hurt. He walked away. And for the first time since I joined the force, I didn't trust my own deputy. As I left the farm, an older farm hand named Martin Hughes waved frantically from his pickup. "I gotta talk to you," he said, voice shaking. "What is it, Martin? I saw something the night Emma died. I didn't tell nobody cause. Well, people who talk too much in this town, they end up disappearing. What did you see?" I asked firmly. His eyes darted around. "I saw a man near her property line, but he wasn't dressed normal." "How?" "He wore a mask. Looked just like the old ones the logging camps used to carve. Real creepy, like something from a ritual." My blood turned to ice. "The same mask," I whispered. "Yeah," Martin said, "and I saw him walk toward the woods, not away from it." I stepped back. "Martin, do you know anyone else who wears masks like that?" He hesitated. Then he whispered, "This town's been off for decades, Officer Hart. People don't vanish without reason. Whatever Emma found ain't new, it's older than all of us." My skin prickled. "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying," Martin rasped, "that whoever killed that girl wasn't working alone, and you're already in more danger than you realize." By the time I drove back to the station, night had crawled over the valley again. The pines loomed darker now, heavier, as if they knew I had learned something I wasn't supposed to. Inside my chest, unease twisted into something sharper. Someone in Silent Valley was lying. Someone was watching. Someone was waiting for me to get too close. Jason was hiding something. Tom was hiding something. Emma died because she uncovered a truth buried deep in this town. And that mask, that smell, that torn paper with Tom Reed's initials. This wasn't a simple murder. This was a web, and I was already standing in the center of it. Silent Valley was never truly silent. I realized that the moment I stepped out of the station that night and felt the woods watching me. The pines leaned in like they wanted to whisper something. Warnings, maybe memories. 5 women gone over the decades, Emma Barnett dead, and 2 men, Jason Clark and Deputy Tom Wright, acting like they owned the darkness. But the truth, the darkness owned them, and I was next on its list. I went straight to the station archives. A cold metal cabinet in the back held the valley's secrets. At least it used to, because when I opened the drawer labeled 1978-2002 missing persons, something was wrong. Half of the files were gone, not lost, removed. I leaned in closer. The folder tabs left faint dust outlines on the metal. Someone pulled them out recently. Just then the door opened. Tom Reed. He froze when he saw me. His hand dropped a fraction too close to his holster. "What are you doing here, Lydia?" he asked, working. I said, sliding the drawer shut. "What about you?" His eyes flicked to the drawer. Some files must have been misplaced. Misplaced. I raised a brow. Or removed. His face didn't move, but something in his eyes did. A tiny crack. "I think you're tired," he said quietly. "What I think," I replied, "is you're hiding something." His jaw tensed, but he walked out without another word. I didn't trust him, and I didn't have to anymore. I parked outside the Barnett farm and stared into the woods behind it. Emma's notebook said, "If something happens to me, it came from the woods." So that's where I needed to go. I strapped a flashlight to my vest, drew my sidearm, and stepped into the trees. The deeper I walked, the colder it got. The silence wasn't natural. It felt forced, like the forest was holding its breath. Then I heard it, a branch snapping, footsteps. I spun around, nothing but darkness, but I wasn't alone, not anymore. 20 more yards in, the woods opened into a clearing, and at the center of it stood a small, weather-beaten shack, barely more than a skeleton of rotting boards. Which meant it wasn't abandoned. Someone had been here recently. I raised my weapon and approached. The door creaked open before I touched it, and there, on the wall, illuminated by my flashlight, 6 photographs. 5 women missing over 30 years, and Emma Barnett's photo pinned in the center. My stomach tightened into a knot. Beautiful, isn't it? A voice said from the doorway behind me. It was Tom Reed. Gun in hand, calm, confident, as if this was just another shift for him. Put the weapon down, he said softly. You killed them. I breathed, all of them. He didn't argue. They weren't supposed to die. Not at first. Silent Valley isn't a place for outsiders. Not for girls who ask questions. This town stays peaceful because we keep the rot trimmed. By murdering women, he shrugged. By making sure the wrong ones don't tear apart what this town is built on. And Jason, he's part of this too. Tom's smile was slow. Jason is necessary. He helps with the land, helps people disappear, and when Emma started digging, she found our old mask. He gestured toward the wooden face hanging on the wall. Burnt wood, familiar perfume scent. She knew what it meant. Tom said she knew a piece of Silent Valley's tradition. So Jason followed her that night to scare her, but she fought. He hit too hard. The pressure in my chest turned hot. Just turn yourself in, I said. It's over. Tom laughed. You still don't get it. It's not over. You're part of this story now. You've seen too much. He stepped closer. You should have stayed quiet, like everyone else here does. But he underestimated one thing: silence was never my language. Tom lunged first. I dodged sideways, the bullet from his gun grazing the wooden doorframe. My gun knocked from my hand, skidding across the floor. He tackled me, but I jammed my knee into his ribs and rolled away, slamming my elbow into his face. Blood spattered. He snarled, grabbing for me again. I reached for the nearest thing, the damn wooden mask. It was heavier than it looked, and when I swung it, it cracked across his temple with a sickening thud. Tom dropped to his knees, dizzy, but he wasn't finished. He grabbed my ankle and pulled me down hard. Pain shot through my shoulder as I hit the floor. He climbed on top of me, hands going to my throat. Should have kept your mouth shut, Lydia, he hissed, and then 3 things happened at once. A flashlight beam flashed through the open door, a gun cocked, and a low voice said, "Let her go, Tom." Jason Clark. Tom froze. Jason, he gasped, "Help me with her." Jason stepped further inside. His gun was steady, eyes fixed on Tom. No. Tom blinked. What did you say? Jason's voice was ice. You messed this up. You killed a girl you weren't supposed to, and now the valley wants a scapegoat? Tom stared in disbelief. You're gonna save her. No, Jason said. I'm going to save myself. And he pulled the trigger. The shot echoed like thunder. Tom fell backward, blood pooling across the dirt floor, eyes wide in shock. He never took another breath. Jason lowered the weapon and looked at me. You should have stayed out of it, Officer Hart. I grabbed my gun from the ground. Drop it, Jason. For the first time, his expression slipped, fear flickering in his eyes. He fired. I fired back. His shot missed. Mine didn't. Jason Clark collapsed onto the floor beside Tom, hands shaking, breath sputtering, and then he was still. 2 killers, both dead. Silent Valley wasn't silent anymore. Backup arrived 10 minutes later. Too late to stop anything, right on time to save me. The investigation spread through the town like wildfire. Files were found, records uncovered, names revealed. Jason Clark had been part of a hidden network buying and hiding land. Tom Reed had been the muscle, the man who handled the women who knew too much. Emma Barnett had uncovered both, and she paid the price, but she wasn't the quiet victim they expected her to be. She left breadcrumbs, mask, notes, documents. And I followed them all the way into the valley's rotten core. A month after the case closed, I visited Emma's grave on a warm morning. Sunlight filtered through the tall pines. For once, the valley felt alive, not menacing, not haunted. Calm, real, just the way Emma deserved it. I kept my promise, I said softly. You're avenged. A breeze rustled the pine needles, almost like a whisper, and for the first time since all of this began, I felt the valley exhale. Justice wasn't perfect, but it was done. And Silent Valley, my valley was silent again, for now. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.